What'd you think of that little sideline thing?
Yeah, I had no problem with that. I think it's just the frustration of the fans now.
Actually did.
Well, we had said all year, like, where are the guys getting animated? We want to see the coaches getting animated too. But I think it's, first of all, receivers in this league. I mean, there are so many of them that fly off the handle and get into it with their guys. And I didn't think that was nearly as bad. That was a very frustrated wide receiver, having a conversation with his quarterback. I think that's pretty typical of the NFL.
I would have thought it was pretty typical of the NFL till Ethan Posick had to get up and kind of shoo him off. When Ethan Posick stood up and shooed him off, I'm serious. I felt, okay, well, he's clearly not saying anything constructive. Like, you can be passionate and angry. I get that. There's a lot of emotion that goes on in a football game, on the sideline, in the stands, in the press box, everywhere. It's an emotional game. And you can have emotion and still be clear with one another there. But clearly, when Ethan Posick stands up and kind of shoos him off, I think it reached a point where this is not going to be helpful to Shedeur Sanders. And that's kind of where I have the problem. We got to be understanding here that you had Dillon Gabriel before, you have Shedeur Sanders now. They're both rookies, and they're not going to be able to see the entire field. And I think that's probably what Jerry's problem is that he's just not looking at number 3 probably first and foremost. Now, I don't know if that's how the plays are designed. I don't know what it is, but Jerry's obviously upset. I don't know how many other people seem to be upset. They all seem to really like Shedeur Sanders in that locker room. And maybe Jerry likes him personally, but Jerry's clearly mad during the game. So something needs to be fixed in that sense. I would like them to throw to their number 1 wide receiver, but if the guy ain't open, then the guy ain't open. Now, Jerry probably feels he's open because I don't think we've ever seen a wide receiver who doesn't think he's open.
You don't think Judy's been getting open?
I would feel that if he were the number 1 wide receiver and he were open, I would imagine that Shedeur Sanders would throw to him. His number 1 wide receiver was open a bunch in college, and he threw to him. So that's where I think that the play should be designed. But again, I don't know how they come up with their plans, and I don't know what they're really talking about. They might want to shorten up some of this stuff and go, okay, this is to Harold, or this is to David, or anything like that. These are dump offs here. I mean, they tried to do a lot of things that I frankly agreed with. The making sure that you ran at a defensive line that isn't that good, that you didn't try to force the ball down the field until you had to. I thought that these were better things. It was, again, when your special teams does things so ridiculous that put you against it, and your 4th down and a half call was ridiculous, where you got guys running onto the field, take the timeout, you can go ahead and punt it away because it's 10-8 at that point. If you punted it away, I know everybody in the world will call you a sissy, and that's not what you do, and this is what the chart says, but you've taken a timeout, and you could always say, we're going to put it back in our defense's hands. We're going to have a little bit of better field position.
At your own 35 with as dominant as your defense had played?
Possibly. That's possible.
I would not have complained.
Well, I thought in so many ways maybe he felt he was damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, but it's better than the result that would have happened. Punting it out and making him drive 80 yards on you or whatever would have been a better outcome than what had actually happened. It took you 9 plays to get 20-something yards. I can't imagine if you would even get into the end zone if it were to take that. So I think that would have been a little bit easier for him. But it's frustrating when you had to change it so much, where I think we have to go back and understand that this guy's behind. It's not a good offense to begin with. And making him have to stand back and throw the ball all over the place where your offensive line is not good. You have backup offensive linemen in.
So I thought the line looked good in the first half. I thought
because they ran the ball a whole bunch.
Yeah,
they had to.
So right now, I think my issue. Look, the quarterback play. I mean, the stats, EPA per play. I think Shedeur is dead last in the NFL. It's only been 2.5 games, so I'm not reading way too much into it. It looks to me the same as Gabriel though, and those numbers match my eyes. It's been pretty bad. The only difference is that Shedeur has been able to hit on some big ones, some splash plays. But they're not asking him to do much at all. I mean, it's just death by 1,000 screens. And eventually, you saw that was Salah's game plan was we are only going to rush 4. We're going to have 7 back, ready to keep everything in front of us. And eventually, the Browns will revert to making mistakes, or we'll have some sort of play that'll blow it up. I mean, they moved the ball the entire first half. And I didn't think it had anything to do with Shedeur. I think it was just screenplay, runs, yards after catch. fan in.
But that's what I wanted to see.
But then
that's why
what are we evaluating then? I guess anybody can do that. How many quarterbacks in the league can't do that?
No, my other guy wasn't doing it. He wasn't conducting the offense. I was excited that they actually moved the ball and had a drive. I know it was a 34-yard touchdown pass, and that's what excites the fan base and excites people in the stands. But I was glad that they were able to execute an offense.
Yeah, they had 8 points. I mean, I just
better than 0 points.
I'm not seeing anything truly. When we talk about like a difference maker, like it's one or two throws a game. That to me is not something where I'm like, we are not drafting a quarterback. Top of the top of the draft.
Don't move the conversation. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about not drafting a quarterback next year. I thought the comparison we were making was with Dillon Gabriel, because Dillon's not completing the screens. Dillon's not completing the short throws. The offense isn't moving with Dillon. All right? Like, he could at least complete the screens. The short throws are the short throws. Okay, I don't know if either can conduct the short throws. I
want to be clear.
And the offense seemed to move.
I said I think he's better, even though, again, the analytical stats are saying he's not better. He's the absolute worst in the NFL. For me, my eyes are telling me he's better than Dillon, but not... There's no huge chasm between the two. You think there is?
I feel completely different with Shedeur Sanders.
So I think he had more time to throw. I thought that offensive line in the first half was a nice carryover from the offensive line against the Raiders, where I was like, man, they're getting better. And then Conklin had to leave the game, unfortunately. And then the Wyatt Teller, what is going on with they basically are telling Wyatt, we know you're not in our future, so we need to start.
I don't know what's going on there. I think you're looking in the wrong direction, if they're talking about not being in the future. I was hoping that there was some sort of an injury. I hate to say it, because I just don't think that that's any bit possible whatsoever. I think that there's some Wyatt people out there that are kind of nuts about how bad he is or whatever. I'm like, no, I think you're looking in the wrong direction personally, but that's just me being personal.
But anyway, all I'm saying is first half, like with the running game they had and the protection, you got to put up more than 8 points. That's all. Well,
let me take a look here, because I thought the first one was the first series is always try to get to know you. And if you end up scoring out of that, fine, because I know they've been able to score out of that before. But other than that, again, I was happy that they ran an offense and actually moved the football down the field in some fashion, whether it be running it or whether it be throwing it. I thought without Jack Conklin in the game, which Jack Conklin came out, third quarter? Without Jack Conklin in the game, I felt that you have to run the ball more, but you ended up costing yourself on special teams.
I felt the exact same way I would have felt with Dillon Gabriel once they got down. No chance. I would have felt that with Dillon Gabriel, and I felt that way with Shedeur.
Well,
zero chance.
I'm sorry. I guess then this is such a sad bar to say, and this is a sad sentence. I'm just more entertained by the other guy. I'm not entertained by Dillon Gabriel whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
And I agree with you. I have some sliver of hope with Shedeur. I have zero hope with Dillon Gabriel.
Honestly, it feels to me, and this is.
I can meet you halfway on something else.
This is what the people are going to take this away. I felt like I did watching Johnny Manziel, where Johnny connected on some big plays. He had some explosive plays. He had 2 bombs in the Tennessee game. He had a way of getting out of the pocket. All right, I'm going to dance around. Someone's finally going to get open, and then he'll let it fly. But no anticipatory throws. I'm not seeing any of that from Shedeur. I'm not seeing him throw guys open. I'm not seeing, that internal clock. He doesn't know when to run or take off. And by the way, I wouldn't expect that. He's a 5th-round pick, and he's had very limited reps, which, we've made a big deal about. But I'm not seeing that innate thing that I was hoping to see, where it just was like, oh, man, this guy should have been playing from day one. I'm not seeing that at all.
When you say Johnny, I understand about the lack of actually putting together all the drives and everything. I was happy. I wanted to see from last week to this week, I wanted him to put together one drive, and I know it was all run except for one pass. I was happy with that. I wanted to see more of it. When you say Johnny, obviously people take into everything else that they feel with Johnny, and that's a bunch of negative stuff. That's nasty. I mean, that's a triggering word, Johnny Manziel. It's a triggering word when you put him against any quarterback that's ever played for the Cleveland Browns, whether that be Dillon or Shedeur. But the thing I can meet you halfway on, my plans for the future haven't changed. And I don't think they've changed for the Cleveland Browns. I got 5 more games for Shedeur to help change that attitude, but I don't think it's been changed in the first 2 games. I don't think it has. And you could say, well, it's the lack of this, the lack of that, the lack of help. Okay, there's plenty of things for it, but that doesn't mean I change my plans because of the lack thereof. I could say he didn't get enough reps, he didn't get enough practice, he didn't get enough this, he didn't get enough that. I still have to bet against that and probably go in a different direction next year in the first round. If I'm the Browns, that's the way I got to do it.
Okay,
now,
that's
he
what
can
I'm saying.
change that, but there's so much more that's stacked against him.
I'm not seeing anything where if they fired Stefanski at the end of the year, a new coach came in, where that new coach is going to be like, we're starting Shedeur.
No, I think that's probably the worst thing for Shedeur and the Browns. Is I think that if they let, and this is something that I don't understand that a lot of people, we got to get Shedeur away from Kevin. We got to get Shedeur away from Kevin. You could get Shedeur away from Kevin during the season if you wanted to. All right, fine. Go right on ahead and do that if you really wanted to do that. But I think that when you look at what they're going to do, they want to throw their trust into whoever they're hiring. So they did this before, and they'll do this again. If they were to let go of Kevin at the end of the year, and then they were to let go of Andrew Berry at the end of the year, new guys are going to come in. We have to understand this together. It's not just Shedeur fans. It's not just people who are Browns fans. We all have to understand this together. No matter what you and I believe, the people in the NFL don't believe it. The people coming in do not believe it. They're not going to make their decision on their next head coach based on what that guy thinks he can do with Shedeur Sanders. That guy and that new that new general manager are going to come in and they're going to go, whatever it is before, we want out of it. There will definitely be some players that they want to keep. There will definitely be a lot of players that go, and he'll be one of them. And they're going to want to go in a different direction. The NFL still believes what they believe about Shedeur. We can believe and say anything we want. We can put out all the YouTube videos we want. It doesn't matter. The NFL has told us time and time again, without telling us, how they feel about the young man. Whether we believe it's fair or not, that's how they feel. If you get a new head coach, he's gone. If you get a new general manager, I firmly believe that whether a new head coach or new general manager, he's just not with the team next year. And they will move on. And then for him, what situation is he going to get to go to? Maybe he gets to go to a better situation. I hope so. But what situation is he going to go back to? Probably the same situation now that he's already been drafted and now he would possibly be a free agent. The same situation that a lot of teams thought he should have gone to in the first place. Was behind a long-term veteran starter or a franchise guy to sit back and who knows if we'd ever get to really see him again. Who knows? But by this time, you guys got to remember, the NFL feels totally different about than we do. And they see this hornet's nest that goes on around this guy where we can't even get through a press conference without cussing each other out. And it's none of it is his fault. I don't blame him for any of it.
I would say this too. Shedeur's fan base is very loyal to him, right? I appreciate their passion, but
Tone.
I'm telling you, you are not helping his future because Kevin Stefanski has never been called the things in his life that he has once Shedeur came in. And that is going to follow wherever Shedeur ends up next. What GM, what coach is going to want to invite your fan base, Shedeur? Not Shedeur's fault, but the fan base. What coach, what system, what GM, what ownership is going to want to bring on the personal shots? Now even Jerry Jeudy is not allowed to get an argument with his quarterback without people calling him really bad things. Well,
I'm not saying anything about Jerry Jeudy.
You guys know exactly what I'm talking about because I saw that yesterday. People putting up clips from Roots, like they're calling Jerry Jeudy that. Like, you think a lot of teams want to invite you guys to the party? No thanks. Not for a fifth-round pick that has the worst EPA in all of football per play.
First off,
nobody's going to want to invite that.
No idea about any of that.
I'll show you.
I don't even want to see it, to be honest with you, okay? So I don't know anything about that
Do you think any of these teams want Shannon Sharp and all of the former players, Emmanuel Acho, taking personal shots at their moral compass? You think they're going to want that over a fifth-round pick?
The situation, the best situation, if this were to all end, would be with him behind any veteran QB that's been in the league for a long time that we know where their standing is in this league, whether it be Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I don't know how much time Stafford has left, but you get what I'm saying. Like the long-term franchise veteran QBs. That would be the best shot. But any team that has any question at that quarterback position, including ours, going into next year, it changes. That's why it's so important. He's got 5 games left to change that. And so far, it hasn't changed that much. If we're comparing him between Dillon Gabriel and him, I'm taking him every time. I don't need to see Dillon Gabriel. I feel bad for Dillon Gabriel in so many ways.
He got booed. Yesterday, when he came into the game off his concussion, the kid gets booed. He was a draft pick too. He's a rookie. He's just trying to get all the same stuff Shedeur fans are saying about how bad the offense is, how bad the coach is. Gabriel's had the same mix.
All I'm seeing is, you know what?
Who wants to sign up for this?
I feel bad for Dillon Gabriel's sake, but I think at the end of all this, I might end up feeling even bad for Shedeur because I don't know. I saw some goofball named John, who I don't know who the hell this guy. Do you know a name John Root?
I've seen it.
I thought it was
another grifter.
I thought it was a parody account. Apparently, this person is real, going after Shedeur Sanders, and I'm like, this is
stupid.
This is ridiculous and disgusting. So I look at him and I go, well, now you're just used by both sides, so people can get their YouTube clips up. And then for Dillon Gabriel, obviously everybody just is more excited by Shedeur Sanders. He comes out in the field, he got booed yesterday. Which, you pay your money, you're allowed to boo. I got to stand by that. But my God. The Jerry Jeudy stuff, I don't even want to see. I don't think that it was constructive for him to be yelling at Shedeur Sanders on the sideline. And the reason I say yell is because Ethan Posick had to get up and kind of get in between it. Everything else about Jerry Jeudy, I don't. It's been a bad year, and I don't like his attitude, to be honest with you. But anything else, I ain't going to say. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about there. And I don't even want to know.